Good morning. My name is Dr. James Fra. Today we are going to talk about the COVID vaccine. In the past few weeks, about a month, it has been a very interesting topic in this country because the country has rolled out the COVID vaccine. But before we even go into details about issues about the vaccine, I want to talk about vaccines in general. What is a vaccine? A vaccine is a drug that is introduced into the body of someone to protect the person from having that infectious disease in the future. Vaccines are not new to us in this country. There are so many vaccines that have been rolled out over the years. And if you were born in this country, by now you'll have been exposed to over 12 or 13 different vaccines by the time you grow up, because as a child, you go to the child welfare clinics and then they give you vaccines. The aim is to protect you against those diseases. Examples: measles, polio, hepatitis B, influenza, and many others. Vaccines have been so helpful to us because it has helped to reduce death among the population. It has helped to reduce death among children. Some time ago, many children died before age 5. But today, we do not hear about diseases like measles. Polio is almost out of the country, and so forth. So vaccines are good and we continue to benefit from them. But how do they work? Vaccines are prepared by taking portions of the organism that causes the disease. This part is taken to the lab and then it's made very weak, so that when it is introduced into a person, it will not be able to cause disease, that same disease in that person. So once it is introduced into the person's immune system, that is the soldiers of our body, as it were, are able to recognize it and then produce chemicals that are able to fight against these antigens or this the chemical that has been introduced into the body. So when they are able to do this, they learn how to destroy the organism. So the next time the real organism comes into the body, your body already knows how to deal with it. So immediately the organism gets into the body, your body rushes on it and then it's able to destroy it before you even get the disease. That is how it protects us. So that is how the COVID vaccine has also been produced. A part of the virus that causes COVID-19 has been taken to the lab and then has gone through some stages so that it's now made very weak. Now it is formulated into the form of a vaccine, a drug, and then it is given as an injection. When you get this jab and it gets into your body, it will train your immune system to learn how to fight and combat COVID-19 viruses anytime some should get into your body. That is how it works. So that's how it protects you. And so when we get a jab, later on in life, when this virus should find a way of getting into our bodies, immediately they get there, the system says that, well, I know this thing before. I've met it before. I was able to destroy it. And then quickly, it now recalls how it did it, and then it's able to protect us. When most people in the community are protected by vaccination, the ability of the pathogen to spread or the organism or the disease to spread is limited, because it needs people who are vulnerable so that it can move from one person to the other. But if most people are protected, it's not able to move from one person to the other, and then when it gets to even one person, the person is able to overcome it, and that ends the spread. Vaccines greatly reduce the risk of infection. So we know that anytime you take a jab, you are protecting yourself, and that is good. The safety of the vaccine has been something that many people are worried about, and that's what we want to talk about. So how safe are the COVID-19 vaccines? Well, there are many stages that the vaccines have gone through before they get to this stage that now they have been approved to be given to the general population. The safety requirements for the COVID-19 vaccines are the same as for any of the other vaccines that you know about. In fact, there have been no compromise on the stages through which the virus or the vaccine should go through. So safety trials begin in the lab usually, and then tests are done. Later, when the tests are done in the lab and then it is found out that, oh, this drug could be of help, it is rolled out into what we call clinical trials. So the first stage is pre-clinical trials. That happens only in the lab. So in the lab, they will take the organism or the whatever they have prepared, and then they try it sometimes in test tubes to see whether it could work. Then they take it to animals. So animal models are used to find out whether the antibodies that are needed to protect someone are actually going to be produced even in animals. And then whilst in animals, they do the preliminary safety checks to see that it could cause some disease or whatever in the animal. If it does, they stop the vaccine production at that stage. It doesn't even continue. But at that lab stage, if everything goes on well and the vaccine is found to be encouraging, that, oh, this one, even in animals, it didn't cause any problems. It was able to produce the effects that we want it to do. Now they enroll it into the clinical trials. There are 4 stages in the clinical trials. We have the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then phase 4. For the phase 1, what they do is that they take healthy adults, people who are not known to have any comorbidities, any disease. So few of them, so maybe 100 or let's say 200 of such adults, and then they try the vaccine on them. Here, their main aim is safety concern. So they want to find out that if you give it to somebody who doesn't have any disease, how will it fare in a person? So they give it out and then they monitor such ones over a period, sometimes over months, to find out if they are going to have any reactions or any serious issues. So those are the phase 1. When it passes that stage, after going through all that and they realize that it is pretty safe in the healthy adults, it now moves to phase 2. In phase 2, again, they will look for healthy adults. By this time, the numbers are more increased. And then in phase 2, they also look for the target population. So if it is a vaccine that is targeting children, in phase 2, they now look for healthy children who they could try it on. Again, this time they are looking at the safety issues and also looking at how effective the drug is. So we are talking about thousands of people in the phase 2. Now they move to phase 3. This time they are looking at tens of thousands of people, because there are certain things that you may not find when you use it in just 1,000 people. But if you increase the size, you may find certain things that may be rare. So that is in phase 3. It is after it has passed the phase 3, now it is giving permission to be used in the general population. So all the COVID vaccines that has been approved to be used in the general population have actually gone through all these stages. The phase 4 is what is called the post-usage surveillance. That is when it is in the system as it is now. The COVID vaccines are being rolled out, they are being given. You must still continue to find out what is happening to people. So again, a lot of safety checks are going on even now as the vaccines are being given. The issue about vaccines and side effects is not so different from any drug that somebody takes. We all know that there are certain drugs that people take and nothing happens to them. There are certain drugs when somebody takes, the person feels okay. Meanwhile, that same drug, when another person takes it, there is a problem. It happens to food. Sometimes I meet people who say, that for me, I don't take okra. Meanwhile, okra is somebody's delicacy. The problem is that we are all different. So something that I may take and I may not even feel anything, somebody else may take and a person may have a complaint. For instance, when I took my COVID jab, I didn't feel anything, but I had colleagues who some complained that, oh, I had some headache. Some said that I had some body pains. Some said that, oh, well, I was having some constipation and so forth. So it varies. However, Going through all the trials that have been done, the vaccines have actually declared safe. So you can rest assured that the vaccines that are given out are really safe. Yes, there may be unexpected reactions in some people, but like I've said, it is normal with any drug. If you take 10 people and give all of them paracetamol, it's likely one of them will tell you that when I take the paracetamol, I get stomach pain. That doesn't mean the paracetamol is a poison or is wrong. There are 9 others who took it without any problem. So the one who had a problem, what must be done is that that person must be taken care of. The next time, that person may not have to take the paracetamol. Or depending on what the paracetamol is being used for, you do what is called risk against benefits and find out. So that stomach pain that you had, how severe was it? Does it outweigh the benefits you are going to get from taking the drug? That's all these things go into it to say that a vaccine is good and whether it should be taken or not taken.